This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.
Hey everybody, this is your co-host Joe Bates, and this is another episode of This is a Good Movie podcast. As always, I'm joined by...
Me.
Yep, I'm joined by her. If this is your first episode ever listening to it, maybe you could help them out a little bit more, her.
Okay, yes. I'm Katie Hetledge.
Okay, the other co-host. What a crazy start. And folks, you may think this is our first take at this intro. It is not. We are all over the place at the start of this.
Do you want to start again?
No, I think this is probably in our top 5 intros right now.
Okay.
Which leads us to the movie we're going to talk about. A movie I picked.
Yes.
The John Cusack cult classic, High Fidelity.
Is it a cult classic?
It is a cult classic.
Okay, I didn't know
I'll tell you what, it didn't make a lot of money. Before we get into that, Katie, how are you doing? It's a very cold New York winter.
I'm good. Does it look like I've been crying?
It does look like you've been crying. We went to get coffee this morning, and I look over, and Katie is just tearful in the face. And I go, "Is it the wind?" And she goes, "No, we're getting divorced."
No, it was the wind. I have sensitive eyes.
Yeah.
Like the commercial.
I've never met somebody who has the most sensitive everything.
Yeah. I just have a lot of sensitivities.
Yeah, it's good. So if you feel like her mic is popping at all, it's a sensitive mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But no, we're talking about a movie I recommended. This is our, I believe, 6th movie we've done so far. This is our 6th episode.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, because
No. 8th?
Is it 8th already?
I did Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh my
Spy
gosh!
Kids,
Yeah, we're at 8 episodes. I totally forgot about
Walter Mitty
Mystery Men.
and well, that sure says a lot, doesn't it? And if you haven't listened to the Mystery Men episode, you can head back.
Head back to Mystery Men. That's a great movie. You know what? Don't even head back. Watch the movie. You should, by the way. We'll stop right now. We'll stop for the hour and 113 minutes needed for you to watch High Fidelity right now. Mm-hmm. So again, as always,
where did we watch it on? Should we tell people like where they can go watch it?
So High Fidelity, I watched. We should definitely do that. So
yeah.
High Fidelity, you can watch on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for $2, or you can buy it for $5 right now. It's on sale on Prime Video. So I bought it because I like the movie a lot, and I don't mind keeping it.
Wait, you bought it?
Yeah.
Joe, why?
Because I like the movie, and if I want to watch it again, now I have it on Prime Video.
Okay, let me know next time you watch it, which I think will be never.
Well, I own it. And
who is buying movies right
Katie,
now?
We're making so much money off this podcast
that
I can
not.
buy full movies if I wanted.
We've made $0.
Well,
people might think that we're
money.
like plugging Amazon Prime right now, but we're not. I just genuinely think that we should tell people where they can go watch the movie so they don't have to search it for themselves.
Katie is not making any money off Amazon Prime. I am making a ton of money off Amazon Prime. Yes, that is true. They've reached out to me. They go, "Hey, you want to be a Prime member? You can save money, no shipping. That's free."
It sounds like you just have a Prime membership.
Okay, that may be what's happening.
And now this really does sound like we're plugging Amazon Prime, and we're not. We're absolutely not.
You mean the subscription service where you not only get free shipping, you can also read a bunch of comic books for free? No,
yeah,
we're
you
not
did discover that. Have you been reading the free comic books? You did like
I
one.
read a couple. A couple, which I like because I had time during the holidays when you guys were all doing stuff and I was working.
Yeah.
But let's get into High Fidelity.
All right, let's do it.
Before we get into this, 2000 movie came out in 2000, which is
wow.
the area of
on par with. We should just rename this podcast to be like
1995 to 2005.
Yeah, have you seen this movie at the turn of the century?
Yeah, when the only time movies existed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where two people, 7 years difference, are watching very different movies at the same time.
Yeah, crazy.
So High Fidelity, Katie, you've never seen it.
I had not.
What did you think the movie was gonna be?
Okay, so I had heard of the movie. Mm-hmm. I think namely because I remember they had a remake come out with
They
Zoe Kravitz.
They had a TV series with Zoe
Oh,
Kravitz
okay.
where she plays the singer Lisa Bonet's daughter
Oh.
in the movie.
Well, that makes sense because she is Lisa Bonet's daughter.
Oh, well, that does make sense then.
Did you not know that?
Lisa Bonet and Lenny Kravitz had Zoe Kravitz?
Yes, who looks just like both of them.
Well, I'm never making that assumption. But I did know Zoe Kravitz was Lenny Kravitz's daughter. I don't know how I knew that, but...
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's that comedian who has a joke about this.
Oh, okay.
Because I guess both Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet are like black and Jewish.
Oh.
And so Zoe Kravitz is also. I
remember that.
I don't know if I want to.
I remember this joke. That is very funny.
Whose joke is that?
I don't know who it is.
Sorry.
We'll find out. We'll post it on something if we can find it. But Lisa Bonet, it's Lenny Kravitz and Zoe Kravitz. What an attractive family.
I know. Yeah.
It's like a crazy attractive family.
Yeah, you're like really late to the game on this situation.
Well, I didn't know the Lisa Bonet part, but yeah, that was
Did you know that Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa were together for a really long time?
I had no idea about Jason
You
Momoa's
don't know
love life.
anything.
I know Tom Hanks' his wife is crazy. That's all I know.
Wait, you think Tom Hanks's wife Rita Wilson is crazy?
Isn't she crazy?
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe I'm just judging that off of that TV show we watched where Tom Hanks' niece was on it. So I just assumed all his wife's family was crazy.
We've really jumped.
Yeah. So
Far
what did
away.
you? I can't believe this is what you thought the movie was. What did you think the movie was, Katie?
I thought it was like about a burnout.
Okay.
Like some stoner burnout, and because it's called High Fidelity. I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I knew it was something about like they had multiple relationships. It was something about like dating, kind of. That's all I knew. I did not know John Cusack was in this.
Oh, really?
I did not know Jack Black was in this. I had like, I knew it was originally a guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything else.
You didn't know that Ibn Hijalzi was in this? The lead actress who has never been in any other movie than this one?
Is she like Swedish or something?
Yeah, I think she is Danish.
She's Danish. So. Yeah, I mean, maybe she's a star over there. I don't.
Yeah,
know
she's
her
done
from
some
anything.
movies over there and everything.
Okay.
So you just thought it was a stoner burnout, just finding love, and you knew none of the actors who were going to be in it.
Correct.
Wow, and you were not very far off.
Yeah.
But there is no stonerness to this movie.
No, there's not at all.
The movie is following a breakup with his most recent girlfriend. Rob Gordon, played by John Cusack, recounts his most painful breakups, seeking to find a reason why he keeps failing at so many romances. And the film is styled around Rob talking to the camera and narrating his own story.
Yes.
Constantly saying like the top 5 of different things.
He breaks the fourth wall a lot.
Yeah. The movie is based on a book by Nick Hornby.
Did he do Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist?
I'm not 100% sure of that, but he did do About a Boy and Fever Pitch. He wrote those books.
Fever Pitch, which you refuse to watch.
Well, that's all about Red Sox fandom right there. But yeah, it was a British novel, and it was based in London. They converted to Chicago.
Oh, he's written a ton of books.
Yeah, Nick Hornby has a lot of books. Basically, the sparks of the men's relationship.
Okay, I don't think that he wrote Nick and Nora.
Yeah, but the thing is, Nick and Nora and Nick Hornby both have the name Nick in it.
Yeah, I see where I'm getting this.
Yeah, so that is what that movie is. It was a budget of $30 million.
Okay.
Which I think is pretty high for what that movie is, to have $30 million spent into it, especially in the 2000s.
Yeah.
The box office, $47 million. This did not
Yikes.
make money, but it did later become a cult classic, to the point that John Cusack was touring with this movie last year, doing a Q&A while showing it.
Oh, interesting.
There's a lot of people who love the movie. A lot of the music lovers. I think there was a I don't know which field it was, but it ranked #1 in movies made in Chicago. Because it's a very, very Chicago movie.
I guess. I didn't get that feeling at all. I was like, this could also be in Portland. I don't know.
Gotcha. To me, I feel like it's very Chicago music-y. Like every reference that they have about things is like Chicago bands and local bands like that.
None of the music that they were talking about.
No, that makes sense. So we'll get into it here. If you're wondering if you're about to watch it, the movie what I recommend to eat is a Chicago dog.
I guess.
And drink a PBR, and I think you'll enjoy the movie with that combo of things.
Yeah, he drinks I think he's drinking like hams.
Yeah,
not hams, PBR.
Or have a shot of Malort if you want to just kill yourself. I picked this movie because again, similar to Eternal Sunshine, High School Joe and College Joe, real reviewing. Well, why is it not working out for old Joe? All that stuff, just constantly reviewing. I very much changed who I was back then to who I am now, but it was like, I think I need to understand why it's not working out.
This movie is a walking red flag.
Yes.
Like, that's appalling. No person should watch this movie and think, someone to emulate. No.
That
absolutely not.
100% true. Rewatching this movie now at the age of 37 and married,
He's awful.
I'm like, if I knew this guy, I would hate him.
Yeah.
But as a kid, when you're in high school, you're like, oh, that's cool. He like works at a record store. He kind of like does his own thing. But no, he's a DJ.
Ugh.
You imagine going to a club and John Cusack is the DJ.
It's not, I mean, I don't care for clubs.
Yeah.
So maybe that one actually would be a bit of my speed. I'd be like, this is a safe place for me.
John Cusack is here.
John Cusack's here. Can't be too bad.
It is. So basically he is a DJ and the movie takes him through like figuring out he's a man-child and needs to grow up to be an adult, to have any kind of relationship.
Well, yeah. So his girlfriend breaks up with him.
Laura. Rightfully so. And then he's like upset about that. And then it's like, why does this always happen to me? I'm such a good guy. Why are these women all breaking up with me? And then he's like, I should call all of them and like ruin their lives. Yes, that is 100%.
Just man-child of like, what will make me feel better? What if I messed up everyone else's lives? I don't care about them, actually. And maybe that is the issue with him, is he doesn't care about these women.
No, he does not.
And never did.
He is looking for closure for things that he kind of already had closure for, but is upset about the current thing, so now it needs to take everybody else down.
Yeah.
So Rob Gordon, is there any redeeming qualities for this character?
It is hard to think of any. I mean, right off the bat, I'm like, this isn't a good look for John Cusack. He looks like all of the Beatles had a baby, and that's him. Like, it's not a good style. His hair isn't good, so we're not doing well immediately.
This movie feels, this is 2000, similar to Mystery Men, kind of like the 90s. Like, we still got it. We're still the 90s.
I guess a redeeming quality is he is able to run a business. He owns a record store. He seems knowledgeable about music. Yeah,
the beta band scene where he says he's about to sell 5 albums right here between one song, and it was a good song. I'd buy an album.
So that is redeeming, is like when someone is decently good at their job. He doesn't seem to like his job that much, and he doesn't have a lot of ambition. So that's kind of a turnoff there. And then he is really a terrible person. Other than that, he's not nice to his coworkers.
I will say, actually, I think the coworkers, Jack Black, another guy who's never been in anything, and John Cusack, is one of the most realistic men relationships I've ever seen.
Okay.
It's just kind of shit talking constantly, arguing about nonsense. It's just like what I feel like I do with my friends all the time. You have annoying things, but you need someone to talk to say your crazy things to.
Yeah.
And they go back and forth. Where he's like, I don't want to talk to you, but I have to like, I'm really into what we're talking about now. It doesn't seem like very one note. There's depth to their entire relationships and stuff.
Yeah, I do like that dynamic. Mm-hmm. But he still doesn't treat them great.
No.
And then on top of everything, he is cheating on his girlfriend.
He cheated.
And that's why she breaks up with him.
He did cheat on her. We'll get into the breakup. Let me see. He goes, the top 5 mess ups or what he thinks Laura is going to tell his sister, played by John Cusack's sister, Joan Cusack.
I appreciate the Cusacks' commitment to being in each other's movies. I think a lot of movies together.
I think it's 8 movies they've been together.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice.
And this is the one of 2 movies their dad is also in.
Who's the dad?
The dad is real small scene. He plays the minister of Laura's dad's funeral. He's in that. This is the second of 2 movies they were in together with their dad.
Okay, very
Which
fun.
is nice. It's
very
a nice
fun. I
thing.
like that.
Yeah, so we'll get into this is kind of one of the reasons why John Cusack's not a great character, because he has this breakup and you don't know all the details, and you're listening to John's like perspective on it. Mm-hmm. So you're like, well, maybe she's kind of did something bad or like is messing it up because he's so upset.
Seems like, so we find out, she breaks up with him, and then we find out she is now dating his former neighbor, Ian, who is a total weirdo. I don't like him either, but
he seems to have his life together.
I guess.
Or at least he's
got
sure
like
of
a
himself.
Ponytail.
He's very confident in himself.
Yeah.
It's played by Tim Robbins, the neighbor.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I mean, Tim Robbins, as we know, never a good guy.
Oh.
I feel like he never plays a good guy.
Oh, he never plays a good guy. I'm
sure he is nice. I'm not
like,
sorry.
Not a good guy.
I'm not
whoa.
attacking Tim Robbins, but remember, because he's in Silo.
Oh, yeah.
And when he showed up, you were like, can't trust Tim Robbins.
You can't trust Tim Robbins in this. Yeah, he was good in, oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. The Shawshank Redemption. Uh-huh. He's a good guy who was unruly put in the prison. Mm-hmm. He's a good guy in Mystic River, one of the saddest movies ever made, ever. And he's not even a good guy in that either. But yeah, Tim Robbins is usually kind of sketchy as
he's
hell.
on the fence.
He said he did this movie and another movie simply so he could keep his wig. And he keeps wearing these wigs to Halloween parties for different costumes.
I respect that.
Yeah, because he did not get paid much for this movie.
Well,
and he was a big actor.
Where was the $30 million going?
I think John Cusack, really.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so she is like,
and filming in Chicago, I think, is very expensive.
Maybe I feel like they weren't filming like at the Bean. They're filming. Again, it might not be in Chicago.
No, it's filmed on like the record store is a Chicago record store they filmed in. A lot of the stuff is filmed in Chicago. It just doesn't seem like it. Maybe
I'll just take your word for it.
Yeah.
But so she's dating this guy. So then you're kind of like, oh, it seems like maybe she's the one who was like, I'm not feeling this anymore. You're kind of a loser. I'm going to go be with this other guy. So you're like, well, I could blame her. But then,
you find out
John Cusack reveals
he cheated on her while she was pregnant.
Yep.
Which led to her terminating the pregnancy.
Yep.
To be fair for John, he says he did not know she was pregnant.
Yeah, I guess. But then he responds terribly to this news.
He responds pretty badly. Just classic guy stuff of, well, that's my kid. How dare you do this? Even though he was a terrible person.
Cheating on her.
He borrowed $4,000 from her.
Oh my God, I forgot about
which
that.
Which he never paid back.
Yeah. What?
And he said, although this is the one thing I'll give him.
Okay.
He told her that he was sort of looking around for someone else. But that conversation does seem kind of tricky, where she wanted to also say that too.
They were living together.
Yes.
Had been dating for years, and he says, I think I might want to look for someone else. Not breaking up with her to do so. Just like, hey, while we're still dating, I'm going to keep my eyes open. What?
Well, in the movie, he says the conversation was like something that she goes, "Oh, do you ever think of seeing someone else in our relationship?" Like they're having a fight. Then he says, "Yeah, I have been thinking that." And she goes, "I've also been thinking that."
I just don't think that like these people should be together.
Oh yeah, no, it's a toxic relationship. The $4,000 alone and cheating, like those two things together are not great.
And it makes it such a bizarre movie because the whole time you're kind of watching it like, you know, in a rom-com, you'll have a guy who like is maybe kind of a curmudgeon or like he's kind of a loser. He has to get his life together, but he does that in the rom-com and then becomes kind of like the guy for the woman to be with. This is like, what if we followed that guy, but like 5 years before when he still doesn't have his life together, is making bad decisions and has no redeeming qualities? What if we made a movie about like that guy or like some woman's like loser ex? What if we just made a movie about him?
I mean, this is a very realistic view of what a DJ in his 30s would seem like, running a record store and then wanting to get into producing. They're never
I guess
great
that's
people.
true. Yeah, it's authentic.
I think I still like the movie because I think I like the way it's shot. I like the way it's done.
It's very different, I think, from a lot of other movies. Like, you don't normally have a protagonist who is also the antagonist. So that's like original.
Yeah, it's definitely a toxic relationship. I do think that part of the movie's charm, and this doesn't work for you because you don't know John Cusack, that you don't see a lot of John Cusack movies.
That is true.
But he has done a lot of 80s where he's kind of like the, trying to figure it out guy. So it's kind of like, it's nice to see him in this role where he's still kind of the 80s, but now he's grown up and he's still kind of doing the same mistakes. So the movie works better with a better knowledge of John Cusack.
And most of my John Cusack knowledge is America's Sweethearts.
Well, another movie where him and Catherine Zeta-Jones don't work out.
I know, it was really fun to have her in this because I was like, wow. I guess he just gathers people that he likes to work with and then works with them.
I think America's Sweetheart was after this movie.
Yeah, it's later.
Let's see here. Let's talk about it. His other relationships, his top 5 breakups he goes through. And this is, I got it written down here. The first one, and we'll talk about when he sees them later too.
Okay, sure.
Allison Ashmore, his 14-year-old breakup.
Yes.
That he was dating for, I think he says 2 days.
A total of 6 hours.
A total of 6 hours where he went away, came back, and saw her making out with another boy.
Yes, and it's important to note that a young Drake Bell is portraying 14-year-old John Cusack, which I just have to say because when he came on screen, I immediately said, I think that's Drake Bell. And then I looked it up, and it is. And I was so excited because it's especially impressive because this was before the Amanda Show.
Yeah, this is after Jerry Maguire that Drake Bell's also in.
Well, we're not talking about
No, I know, but he's already been in big movies and stuff.
I'm just saying, like, it's before he really becomes what he looks like.
Katie,
on
it was very impressive.
Thank you.
I will say
that's all I'm trying to
I
get
know,
you to say.
I'm not denying what you're doing.
Okay, so yes, that's a breakup.
That was a breakup. He calls to find out more about her and why she kissed another boy when he was 14 years old, and gets her mom, who tells him that that's not true because she married her first boyfriend.
Yes.
Which is the first sign that Rob Gordon is not a good guy, because he goes, actually, no, I was her first boyfriend.
Yeah, he doesn't take the news well.
He's like so upset that she needs to know that for 6 hours she was dating somebody else.
Yeah.
Which when I was younger in like high school, I probably should have seen that as a very flawed thing and not he's right though.
Yeah, it's not great. But he, moves on, finds a girl in high school.
Well, he finds closure with that because, she married the first guy she dated right afterwards. So
he's like, whatever.
Yeah, so that makes sense. The second person, his high school breakup, Penny Hardwick.
Yes.
She was a virgin.
Okay.
And he was trying to do stuff with her, and she did not want to go there with him.
Fair enough.
And he broke up with her.
Yep.
And then she slept with the next guy she dated.
Well, that's what he thinks.
Yes,
he
because
hears from this other guy who's like bragging about it, and he's like, what? I went out with her for so long and she wouldn't put out for me, and then she immediately puts out for this other guy. Yeah. Not a great response yet again.
I would say this scene when he meets Penny again, who reviews movies for a living, and talks to her about the relationship, kind of like, honestly, they should cut this scene out because it's irredeemable how he reacts talking to her.
Yeah, so she basically comes forward and she's like, I was so vulnerable after, like, I was really into you and I was so heartbroken when you broke up with me, and I was really vulnerable, and I went out with this guy and he took advantage of her. Yeah,
he took advantage of her, and she tells him that while crying, which is like a very well acted scene for like a small role. Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh yeah, I broke up with her. Closure.
Awful.
Absolutely terrible.
Awful.
Absolutely just such a, and I feel like there is no like coming back from that kind of thing.
Yeah. He's not great.
Before we get to Catherine Zeta-Jones, I'm going to bump up to number 4.
Okay.
Which is Sarah, who is someone who is very depressed too during the breakup.
Well, they're both on a rebound.
They're both on a rebound. They're both very depressed, talk about their breakups to each other constantly. And who, Lily Taylor, played his friend in Say Anything.
Oh.
They were in Say Anything together.
I've only seen that movie one time.
I've never seen Say Anything.
I didn't really like it that much, to be honest. So, like, we're probably not going to watch it. And I know that might be controversial. It's referenced so much with the boombox over the head and stuff. And so I was like, this has to be like the classic rom-com. And then I really wasn't that into it. So you went in this movie. I think I don't like John Cusack.
That's crazy. He's so likable. I love John Cusack, but yeah, so they were in that movie together, and so he plays this depressed person. They're depressed together. Mm-hmm. She leaves him when she finds somebody, which he doesn't realize that was something they were doing, and then he meets up with her again,
and she's still very sad.
She is,
and he kind of like leads her on.
Her medication's not working.
Yeah.
And she wants to get back together, and he's like,
I'll call you. And then he does not.
He does not. He does the whole, like, I'm actually being a really good person by not sleeping with her. And I could, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's gross.
He is not a good person.
Yeah, not a good person. Okay, so he is on the rebound in that relationship because of
Charlie Nicholson.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
He met her in college, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. And she is just like the girl he's dating who's like, I shouldn't be in this relationship. She's so much better than me. Mm-hmm. And just one of those classic, like.
She's like so smart, so creative, has opinions on everything. She's super hot.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's really what it is. She's confident and hot, which means why would anyone date her that is my level?
Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, that is the first relationship that I'm on his side for.
She does cheat on him.
She does cheat on him. She leaves him right away.
They dated for 2 years.
No, yeah, but like immediately like breaks up by cheating on him.
Yes.
And this is one of many scenes where he walks around in the rain, which he's outside her house, like Say Anything, in the rain.
Yep.
But you know what he doesn't have? A boombox.
He does not. Maybe that would have fixed it.
And then he meets her later on and realizes, oh, this is like not a good person.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a high class, they're not saying anything type thing, where you feel imposter syndrome being around them. Mm-hmm. But if you take a second and get rid of that, you realize, oh, these people are just losers that have no real opinion on anything and no actual action kind of stuff.
Yes. She does say, she's like, do you want to be friends or no? Because if you don't want to be friends, then like, I'm not even going to talk to you, which is fair. And she says that she gets these calls a lot from like ex-boyfriends who are going through these like, what does it all mean kind of things, like quarter life crises. Did you have one of those? Is that a common male experience? Did I have
a quarter life crisis? Oh, 100% I had a quarter life crisis. I was very much... Because, well, when I was 25, I dated someone that cheated on me.
Yeah.
So I just kind of spiraled.
I see how you could then relate to this film.
Yes. That was very much like, oh, well, he makes sense. He's got to figure it all out, and I got to figure it all out. And let me tell you, I figured nothing out.
Yeah.
If anything, it really stunted me by doing any of these choices that he's made in the movie. But yeah, and then she goes, well, do you really want to know why I broke up with you? And he goes, yes. And then he just leaves in a worse mood because no one actually wants to know why someone doesn't like you.
Yeah, that
It's
makes
like-
sense. You think you do, but you
do
don't.
not. You want to let that go, let it be in the ether.
Yeah, especially because it's like usually true.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Which leads us to Laura,
Yes, okay.
an actress
Back
we've
to
never
Laura.
seen before or never afterwards.
No?
What did you think of Laura?
Well, I don't trust her because she has the tiniest bangs in the world. I don't
It's
get
very
these
Scandinavian. It's Banganavian.
micro bangs, like Courtney Cox and Scream bangs. It's not a good look for anyone. And I do know that Kristen Stewart just debuted some micro bangs, and I'm sure she's pulling it off because it's Kristen Stewart. But we generally should stay away from this look. So right off the bat, I'm like, don't trust her. And then I do think she has terrible taste in men because the two men that I see her with are both not good. And she's like pretty. She's a lawyer. She's like, she seems okay.
Yeah.
And then she has terrible taste in men. Now, I do think she might have daddy issues because we see her father dies and John Cusack goes to the funeral and stuff, and he's talking to her sister, and she's like, yeah, Mom and I are doing okay. It's tough, but Laura is just, she will not
Messed
stop crying. She is like awful. So I'm like, okay, maybe something's going on with that. And I am thinking like, okay, what is the point of this movie? Because they're clearly not going to get back together. They shouldn't be together.
Oh, so you saw no hope for them.
No. And then what happens? They get back together.
So did you think that it was possible that him and Lisa Bonet were going to end up together?
Oh, yeah. We didn't even really talk. I mean, we
Yeah.
talked about that she's in the movie. So she plays a singer
A beautiful, amazing singer.
and
Covers a Peter Frampton song, which they go in to say they all hate Peter Frampton. Then they go, he's actually not that bad when they hear her sing.
yes. And they have like kind of a flirty few conversations, and then they end up sleeping together after John Cusack finds out that Laura is like living with Ian, basically. So he's still like trying to get back with Laura, but he goes and sleeps with Lisa Bonet.
And they have a conversation the next morning that's like, oh, yeah, dude, this is who you should be dating. Like, this is clearly, she has a more adult view, but kind of a similar view to what you think.
I mean, I don't want to say that this guy should be dating anyone.
Okay,
because
that's
he's not
fair.
a good guy.
That's fair.
And it's not on women to like help not good guys get through things and like grow up and become mature adults. It's not our job.
I definitely wrote a couple things. John Cusack may be toxic.
Yeah.
John Cusack might be a selfish prick.
Very selfish.
Might be. Okay, he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
And then there was one more. The girlfriend does a lot of heavy lifting in this relationship. Even after they get back together, she's basically like, here's how you should live your life. This is what you should do.
Well, yeah.
Which
So
shouldn't
then
be her
they're
responsibility.
like back together and things are going okay, I guess. He has some little epiphany where he's like, there's these two punk kids who keep trying to steal records from his store. And then they end up having like an EP and it's pretty good. So he says, I'll produce that for you.
Yes.
So I guess he just does that. And then she's like, you should have an album release party. And he's like, no, I don't want to. And she's like, no, all of your friends want to support you. They can play their songs. You can DJ. It'll be great. And he's like, no, I don't want anyone to come to this. And he's like such a baby about it.
Yeah, he is.
And then it ends up being great. Jack Black's band is really good, which we had no doubt that it would be. Yeah, so she's great. And then as all of this is happening, he's again having flirty conversations with a music journalist.
Yes, I'm glad you brought her up. Yes, he looks like he is like really considering sleeping with this journalist lady while he's like finally got what he wanted because he still hasn't grown up yet.
It's awful. And then he decides, okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to do anything with the music journalist.
And he tells her about it.
And he tells Laura about it like while he's proposing to her.
Here's an interesting thing about that interviewer. In real life, that's Natalie Wood's daughter.
Whoa.
And the stepdaughter of Robert Wagner.
Whoa.
And Robert Wagner supposedly killed Natalie Wood on a boat.
I mean, I don't know.
With
We're not Christopher Walken. We don't. We can't say.
Hey, this guy who killed, I don't know.
Okay.
That's
that
pretty
was not
good. That's pretty good impression. But John Cusack and her got married for 5 years in real life.
Oh.
So,
okay.
I mean, they did have chemistry.
Yeah, they did. That makes sense. But yeah, so he proposes to Laura just like, do you want to get married? Because I'm sick of thinking about the potential of being with other women.
Yeah, I'm tired of
It's like I'm tired of playing this game of like, who should I be with? So maybe if I just marry you, then that will stop.
Yeah, they're really, I mean,
And
I gotta
she's
be
just
honest,
kind of
watching
like,
this again.
okay.
Yeah.
I guess. So all that to say, like, you think, okay, Laura's too good for this guy, but she just makes terrible choices.
I mean, if you really want to know how terrible men are, they think what happened with John Cusack was him growing up, because at the end he goes, well, I'm going to make a mixtape, which is what he does throughout the movie. I'm going to make a mixtape for Laura on things that she likes, not what I like. And it's like, oh. Like
Oh my God, like the bare minimum. Okay, I know that I didn't really make a lot of like, well, I definitely didn't make mixtapes.
I made a lot of mixed CDs. I've given a lot of mixed
time.
CDs.
Yeah, mixed CDs I made for myself. Mm-hmm. When you were making mixed CDs for various girls in your life, were you thinking about what they would like, or were you using the songs to like send a weird message to them?
Well, it depends.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there was definitely times where I was trying to send a weird message to somebody.
That I could read that.
Yeah, but there's also times where I was like, that's usually people I wasn't dating that I was like friends with, or I'm like,
you were trying to be like, hey, I like you, and
this
you
is my
should
picking,
like me too.
Picking them up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is crazy.
No, it's very of the times.
Yeah. But there's people I was dating where I'm like, I need them to, I know what kind of music they like, but I want them to like the music that I like. So I kind of mix half and half in the CDs.
Okay.
And I focus very heavily on like the transitions from songs to songs and stuff.
Yes, you really focus on those transitions to the point that when you made playlists for our rehearsal dinner, our cocktail hour, and our wedding reception dinner, not only did I have to review the songs that were on the playlist, but you specifically would like fast forward to get through the whole thing. You would fast forward to the end of the song so I could listen to each transition because the order was really important to you.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy.
I just want people to know a little bit about like, what is it like to be in a relationship with Joe Bates? That's pretty much it.
I feel like you can see why I like this movie.
I 100% can see why you like this movie. It's concerning slightly. I appreciate that you are like very quick to acknowledge all of the guy's flaws. That's good. I
mean, when he's talking to the one girl that had sex with the next guy in that conversation, I just I was like, oh no, I didn't know this was in the movie. I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, that's gonna happen, I think, a lot when we're watching movies that we really haven't seen for a long
for
time.
20 years.
So I know, like, we just watched The Princess Diaries. That holds up 100%.
We just watched Book of Mormon. That holds up.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing offensive about that.
We did go see Book of Mormon.
All right. Good. Now, I think this is the meat of the movie, and what makes the movie great right here is the side characters. Joan Cusack, I think, is great in this movie.
She's excellent. Yeah, we know that.
She plays a perfect sister.
And is this what led to her and Jack Black being in School of Rock together? One of our all-time favorite movies,
yes,
I think.
do think.
Joint favorites.
So it's tough because a lot of these characters in the movies have been in a lot of different movies with each other. Jack Black and Tim Robbins were in Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny together. There's just a lot of different
overlap,
weird little things. This was, leading to Jack Black. This was Jack Black's first award-nominated role.
Wait, he was nominated for this?
For like not like Oscar or Golden Globe, but like a lot of different types of like comedy awards and stuff.
Okay.
His role like kind of led to him getting Shallow Hal the next year. And where you like every
a movie
scene
that totally holds up. I do like that movie, but it's not good.
But every scene you see him in, he like is the guy.
Totally.
He's the main character.
When he shows up, he just like immediately brings that Jack Black energy that is his like star quality, that you're like, this is what. And I mean,
he's kind of an asshole in this movie. At the beginning, near the end, where he's like
people, because he is kind of an elitist about
Yes.
music and taste in music, so he'll like be not very nice to people who he thinks aren't worthy of
yes.
his music opinions. But then he like joins this band, this like garage band, and he doesn't play any instruments in the movie, and they're kind of like, I don't think your band can possibly be good because like
you're a maniac.
Yeah. But then at the end they perform, and of course Jack Black is very talented, so he does a great job, and I love that for him.
At the end he sings "Let's Get It On." Originally they wanted him to sing a different song, and I don't really remember exactly the name of it. It's a different Marvin Gaye song. And Jack Black was like, listen, that song does not pop at the end of the movie. You need to do "Let's Get It On."
He's so smart.
That song will like sound great for the climax of this
And
movie.
it did. It really did.
It really
Yeah.
Sugar.
Yeah, it was so good.
That scene is kind of the scene I remember from High Fidelity, is him singing "Let's Get It On." If I had to pick the scene that when I think of the movie I think of. He is really fun. The other employee
yes.
who's forgettable, which is kind of what his character's supposed to be.
Well, I just looked him up. His character's name is Dick,
Yeah.
and his real name is Todd Luiso. Mm-hmm. He's in a number of other things, but not any. I think this is like the biggest.
Yeah, and he plays...
Oh, he's also in Jerry Maguire.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, real Jerry Maguire reunion.
He plays a very soft-spoken guy that's kind of a real beta.
Yeah.
In the form like where it's not cool to say somebody, but he just really is that. Jack Black's an alpha. But the record store employees around John Cusack are also growing and changing, which pisses John Cusack off. Why are they changing and I'm not?
Right.
But I think that does help him grow.
Yeah, he's like, okay, we can't just be these losers forever. We have to actually, like, improve our lives in some way.
That seems like such a cool job, though, in a record store, though.
Well, probably not right now. Don't you think it's kind of like records have had a little bit of a
Vinyls are huge right
comeback,
now. Yeah.
But I think in general, streaming has probably not been great for the record industry.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's cool. I think vinyls have been, like, the most popular they've ever been since like the 60s kind of thing right now.
Since the original.
The original vinyls.
Sure.
We've also, he very much plays that, like, I don't know how to help somebody who's struggling, but I want to try, but also I'm so bad at this.
No, I thought he was great. I appreciate someone who is like a nice person.
Yeah.
He's nice. He's like he's like, oh, well, I can help you organize your records, when he sees that John Cusack is like organizing all of his records. And then John Cusack is like so mean about it, because he comes in, so Dick comes in, he sees John Cusack's record collection at home, like everywhere strewn about. He's like, oh, are you reorganizing? And John Cusack is like, yeah, you want to guess how? And he's like, is it alphabetical?
It's
and
not
John
alphabetical.
John Cusack's like,
not chronological.
no. Yeah, he's like, it's not chronological. And then John Cusack goes, it's autobiographical. He's like, so now when I want to listen to this artist, I have to remember that I got their first album when I was like out with my friend.
1983.
Like he's such a narcissist.
Yeah, that is 100% true. But it is pretty cool. But it's a terrible way to organize anything.
It doesn't even make any sense.
It's such a terrible way to organize it. I remember thinking it was cool, and then watching it again and be like, why would I want to remember all these purchases I've ever made?
So strange.
Other side characters, the punk kids that steal CDs.
Yeah.
We have a friend, the late Erin Carr, who passed away. She did improv classes with the kid with the polka dot hair.
Yes. You told me
which
that.
is pretty crazy. I don't know, just that have some sort of connections to this movie from people we know. Lot of band. They had a poster of Montreal, a poster of Pavement, two bands I really love.
I haven't heard of them.
You've probably heard their songs. The "Spit on a Stranger" song, that's Pavement.
Okay.
Yeah, John and Joan have been. Joan Cusack is great. Bruce Springsteen is in this movie.
Yes, I noticed that.
John Cusack wrote the movie, so he basically cast who he wanted the whole time.
Oh, that's interesting.
He said it took a little convincing to get Jack Black to do this role. Artie Lang did try out for that role.
Okay.
But Jack Black finally said yes because John Cusack loves Jack Black. He loves Tenacious D. Tenacious D played at the film premiere of this movie.
Cool.
But the only role that was almost somebody else is John Cusack wanted Bob Dylan to be the Bruce Springsteen role.
I think it's hard to get Bob Dylan to do anything, is my understanding
Which is true.
of Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan said he was busy.
Yeah, probably doing nothing.
Probably doing nothing. Is there anything you want to talk about with this movie about like the writing or the style?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fourth wall breaking and kind of just him talking to the audience.
This movie is a podcast. This movie, like...
Yes.
It's just him telling us things about his life. And then we kind of see it play out. But at the end of the day, there isn't a whole lot of, like, plot to this movie. I know there is. We talked about it.
It's
but
not
kind
great growth, but there is
Yeah.
growth of the character when he realizes, like, at first he sees his exes and is like, oh, I'm a shithead. But then, like, the further down the line he goes, I'm starting to realize, like, there is an issue.
Yeah.
He does realize he's at fault for most of the relationships.
He does. It just seems like there isn't a whole lot of activity happening. He doesn't have, like... He's just not moving the story forward that much. It's just sort of happening to him.
Yeah.
And then he's like talking to the audience about it. So that's why I say it's a podcast. I also think it took a long time for like the plot that is there to really come out. We were like 20 minutes in and I was like, what is this movie even about? Like they're breaking up and they're still breaking up and we're still just... Nothing else has happened. They're just still broken up.
There's a lot of time lapses in the movie that aren't very clear. I think. We haven't even. So Tim Robbins' character, who's like a world music kind of like real weirdo with a ponytail.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever says it, but he seems like he's really into Japanese stuff.
Yes.
Kind of guy. But he. I would say the second best scene in the movie is he goes to talk to John Cusack to leave them alone.
That is a really good scene. Yes.
Where this happens nowhere else in the scene. John Cusack has multiple reactions in his head to him talking to him like this, where he's being a man and being tough. Where the dick hits the guy with a phone and they just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, there's just like multiple like what ifs scenarios happening, and that is a very funny scene. That's probably the funniest scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, I would say that, or when Jack Black's singing "Let's Get It On," because you don't know what to expect in that moment.
Yeah, I think personally, I do think the ending of the movie is like a bit of a yawn. It's just kind of like, okay, and I guess that's it.
They're gonna be together,
get married, and whatever. The only redeeming part of the end is Jack Black's performance, because that is very fun. Otherwise, I think this is like 15 minutes too long.
Okay, all right, I see that. And there's 3 Oscar winners in this movie.
Not for this movie.
Not for this movie.
Okay.
This movie, I think the only nomination this movie got was John Cusack was nominated for Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Comedy. Let me tell you the other people he went up against in this role.
Okay.
For a Golden Globe in comedy in 2000.
Can I guess who won? Do you know?
Out of the people I'm about to say?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can guess who won.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
He goes up against Mel Gibson for What Women Want.
Okay.
Jim Carrey for The Grinch. George Clooney for Oh Brother Where Art Thou. And Robert De Niro for Meet the Parents.
Oh, wow.
What a crazy 5 people. I mean, Mel Gibson's a terrible guy, but he still like was a huge star at the time of this.
Yes, lots of big stars in this category, but who won?
the Golden Globe for Best Performance in a Comedy.
Globe. I'm going to say Robert De Niro.
George Clooney for Oh Brother,
That was
Where
my
Art Thou?
second guess.
Yeah, he ended up winning.
Did that movie do pretty well at awards? I feel like
yeah,
yes.
I think it also, that movie won a Grammy for Best CD, like Best Album of the Year. Was a soundtrack to a movie.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's very
You
good.
have us listen to it fairly often.
I do like it.
Yeah, so.
I put it on my top 5 movie soundtracks. Top 5.
Would this one be in there? You said you really like
I
this
do really
one.
like this one. I'd have to give it a full listen to understand. Royal Tenenbaums is in there. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You know what? For you, because I love you so much. Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
It is a good
Yeah.
soundtrack.
No, it's good.
Mine
I used to
would
love
be-
Eternal Sunshine as well.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty, for sure. I listened to the Sweet Home Alabama soundtrack a lot. I also listened to the 13 Going on 30 album a lot.
Okay.
Very good soundtrack, I think. It's a lot of 80s hits. And I guess I can't really think of any others at this time.
A lot of
Maybe
Wes
High School
Anderson,
Musical.
movies. I'm gonna like the soundtrack to that. So
Mm-hmm.
there's probably a lot of that. Like Darjeeling Limited. I've listened to a bunch, which not a lot of people's favorite movie. Anyways, I do feel like we're getting a little bit off track.
Yep.
And I think we are at the point that I would like to ask you, my beautiful wife. We're doing a new thing called "This is a good takeaway. This is a bad takeaway. This is just a takeaway." So, what are your 3 takeaways from this movie?
Okay. My good takeaway is that we should let Jack Black do whatever he wants.
Yes, that is true.
My bad takeaway is that people can cheat on their pregnant girlfriends because apparently it doesn't matter.
Well, he didn't know she was pregnant, but it's not
It's
good.
not good. Also, I don't know, like pay more attention to the I think if I suddenly like stop drinking, you might be like, "What's up?"
That's how much she drinks. She's constantly drinking.
Yeah.
Every day, she's got a bottle of wine in both hands.
If I was like, "Hey Joe, I don't think I'm going to go skydiving this weekend." You might be like, "Something's going on," you know?
Katie thinks pink wine is just drinking red wine and white wine together.
That's my special recipe. Don't tell people about that. Only over ice.
This is a pink blend.
Oh gosh.
Okay, your bad takeaway is pay attention to the people.
Yeah.
or your bad takeaway is it's okay to the cheat on your girlfriend is a bad takeaway.
That's a bad takeaway,
Yeah.
but it works out for him.
Yes.
So
What's just a takeaway?
men should not be babies, but they will be babies.
Yeah, that is true. I'm a big baby.
You're a big baby.
I'm a big baby. All right, awesome. And one more thing before we get to the big question.
Okay.
Based off the book, this was already being written before the movie, but came out after the movie, was a Broadway musical of High Fidelity with all original songs.
Wow.
It lasted 10 days in Broadway.
Oh no. I mean, that's better than Spider-Man, I think, but not good.
I think Spider-Man just kept getting revised and like, it's going to work this
It was
time.
just like forever in previews.
Yeah, it lasted 10 days. It had like 13 performances, but it was all original songs. The people in the play, the only one of note is Jen Colella.
Okay.
She was in Dear Evan Hansen and Come From Away.
Okay. That's
So she ended up
legit.
doing that, but she's the only one that seems like legit Broadway star that was in High Fidelity the musical for 10 days. I wouldn't mind listening to that musical though to see
I
what
mean,
the songs are
sometimes,
like.
you know, in small indie musicals can do well. Like Once is pretty popular, so
Yeah.
you know.
No, I agree. All right, Katie,
Yeah.
is this a good movie? Podcast.
I do think it's a good movie
Whoa!
as long as you take it as a cautionary tale.
Yes.
I'm concerned that people like a young Joe Bates might be like, this is a good movie that I should like put on a pedestal and like do what these characters are doing. If you go into this being like, these are not good people and they are making bad choices, I think the film is good. The characters are very flawed, but you can't say that just because characters are flawed that it's a bad movie overall.
Yeah. I think another thing from this movie is that Lisa Bonet should have done a lot more movies because she was really good at it.
Yeah, she was great. I wish she was in more
She's
of it.
super cool.
Yeah, I think that's what she's kind of known for.
Because I think she did a TV show Life on Mars and everything, but she was really cool. But I'm surprised you said it's a good movie, but I totally understand. It can impression people the wrong way of what love is.
Yeah.
And I think it is what people in the 90s guys, like, I've never seen it, but it's my understanding it's kind of similar to Reality Bites. Mm-hmm. Where he's a kind of a shitty guy and shouldn't have anybody in his life. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's, one more note. They make fun of him wearing a Cosby sweater, and Lisa Bonet was in the Cosby show.
I know, yeah, I did catch that.
Which is a neat little thing.
That's fun.
And
I mean, not anymore.
When
but it was.
Well, yeah, not anymore. And when they're sleeping in the bed together reading books, Laura is reading Love Thy Neighbor.
Oh, no.
Which is a big giveaway that Ian
Big giveaway.
But yeah, awesome. So that's a good movie. I can't believe you said that. Really thought I was going to go for a bad movie.
I'm in a good mood.
Hell yeah. Well, we just had coffee and tea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Katie, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
For cool.
What if every episode, let's pretend like I'm a guest.
Yeah. And again, we got Katie Hetledge. Katie, do you have a movie that you want to suggest for us next?
I do, and I'm really excited about this one.
Okay, I have no idea what it's going to be.
I wanted to venture away from our 1995 to 2005 time range.
2007?
No, a little bit later. And we just had the Golden Globes not too long ago. And both of these people were nominated, the stars of this movie. Actually... No, yeah, both of the stars.
All right, okay.
Well, now I'm forgetting if someone else is also there.
The anticipation is killing me.
We're going to watch Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, okay. All right, Silver Linings Playbook. I have never seen
movie.
that.
It's a good movie.
All right. That'll be good. Robert De Niro, Bradley Cooper,
okay,
Jennifer Lawrence.
I was trying to be like, is Robert De Niro, does he play Bradley Cooper's dad? And then I was like, oh my gosh, what if it's not him? What if it's someone else? So yes, all three nominated for Golden Globes. I think 2 will be nominated for Oscars. Probably not Jennifer Lawrence this year, but she's good in that movie.
Okay.
But
anyway. Cool. Well, thanks again, folks, for listening. This is a Good Movie Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at TIAGMPod, as well as email us at TIAGMPodcast. This is a Good Movie Podcast. And let us know your thoughts on any of the movies we've seen. Or on YouTube as well. You can at TIAG, or This is a Good Movie Podcast, TIAGM Pod. We're on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all the things you want to listen to the podcast on. Rate, subscribe, please give us good ratings. I don't mean to beg. I'm gonna make a post tomorrow on my birthday about people asking to follow and subscribe. But we're doing better on YouTube. We're getting a lot of cool stuff, and our later episodes are doing better than our previous episodes. So we're getting better.
Yeah, I don't know if they wanted that update.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I'm just kind of in a role. Yeah. Anyways, this is a Good Movie Podcast. I'm Joe Bates. That's Katie Hetledge.
We love you. Bye.
We love you.
This is a Good Movie Podcast with Katie and Joe.